there's like there's like makeup Oscars, and there's like basically like what happened with Scorsese and The Departed, where they give him the best director for The Departed, is kind of almost like a lifetime achievement award more than an actual recognition of his work on that particular project. I just don't know. And also, like, but to keep it with the contemporary Oscars, like the ones that are going to be airing as this podcast comes out, can you name like more than 3 movies that are nominated for Best Picture? Like,
I
there's
couldn't.
Power of the Dog,
What's the Will Smith one where he did like the Williams,
King Richard.
King Richard?
That's literally the only reason I care about the Oscars this year, is because I want to see Will Smith win an Oscar.
Welcome everyone to episode number 34 of the Johnny Rogers Show. I'm very excited to have my guest on today. He's a fellow stand-up comedian and he's a master impressionist. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Love.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on, man. It's such short notice.
Hey, buddy. Everything in this life is short notice now.
Yeah. I'm pretty much like
borrowed time since pandemic and all that. And end times seem to be approaching. But anyway, that's no way to start a podcast. What's going on? How are you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Just moved to Ottawa recently. I caught your show at Laugh Lounge a couple weeks ago.
I'm so sorry. So sorry to hear that.
Don't be sorry.
That was good. That was a good lineup there, eh? Tamara and Wafik and me.
Rob Pugh.
Oh yeah, Pugh dropped by and just torched the place.
Yeah, I love him. He's always so good.
Yeah, he's awesome. So, have you been performing since you moved here?
I haven't. I just am recovering from COVID right now. I was supposed to perform at Laugh Lounge on like last Sunday or something. But then started to feel crappy on Saturday, and I was like, yeah, I don't think it's the wisest idea to go out and do a mic right now. And then I took a test on Monday.
Yeah, you did the responsible thing. 9 out of 10 comics would not do. Like, I think I have COVID, but fucking, I got a spot, so like,
I gotta get this joke out.
No, good for you though. Yeah, because no, it sucks you weren't able to get on, but like you did the responsible adult thing. How are your symptoms? Because like I had it too. I had it around Christmas time.
Ooh.
And yeah, which sucks, but it was, yeah, like what did you have? Did you have like raging diarrhea, like
oh, the whole kit and caboodle? Yeah, I had like sore throat and kind of nausea the first couple days. And then from there, it was just like vomiting and cold sweats and like just brutal. Just it took me right out.
Now, did you go through the taste and smell phase? Did that go at any point?
Yeah, actually, there was a period where not taste as much, but like smell. I definitely couldn't smell like anything.
So you're just dropping farts.
Just letting it go the whole time. Not a care in the world.
Sick with COVID, like you can't smell it. Although that is kind of the charm of your own farts, that you enjoy the smell a little bit. It's like your own recipe, and it's like
it brings a little smile.
It has a familiarity to it,
Yeah. You can do it too based off the sound. You're like, oh, I know what that's gonna smell like.
Oh yeah, no, I find that the bigger the smell or the bigger the sound, all bark and no bite sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
Silent but deadly. That these idioms exist for a reason is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, this truth.
This devolved into pee poo poo humor really.
Hey man, that's just what we do. I want to so here I'll catch the audience up on how we met. So we met doing background acting probably, God knows, like 6 years, 5-6 years ago, something crazy like that, maybe even longer.
probably even more than that.
Probably even more than that,
I
and I've just lost track of time.
Yeah, it could have been 2013 or 2014. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Long
because there was Sharon was on the exact same set, which I always think is so funny.
Corey Sharon's there. We're like, oh shit, yo,
Like,
man, you're sick. And he's like,
yeah,
oh, I know.
yeah, yeah, right.
He
How's
was like
that?
the celebrity on that fucking shoot. I don't even remember what that movie was. It was
Some,
probably,
yeah, some Lifetime film or
and
something.
the homie she met online, you know,
All those movies are so ridiculous.
it's always either a revenge or the blank she met online. I
Yeah.
actually the one I did that I was cast in was a daughter's revenge. It was originally a stepdaughter's revenge, but they
Oh no.
figured revenge was better. I don't know, just when you Google it, like a stepdaughter takes revenge on her fucking dad by sucking his dick or something. Like
It
that's
just quickly devolves into every
it.
porn.
Yeah, but yeah, so like I mean, we haven't really kept in touch since that first meeting. I mean, it's like when you like meet somebody, you add them on the socials, you add them on the gram or the book or meta as they call it
Yeah.
now.
Add them on the meta.
Oh, meta, in the metaverse. But you sort of stay in touch, but like from a distance, like they're just in the periphery of your life.
Yeah.
You keep in touch. So it's nice that we're doing this some 6 or 7 years later,
Yeah,
because
yeah. That's why I love the podcast.
I remember you talking about like you're like I like what all the podcast like I like listening to Rogan and all these other people. This was back when it was acceptable to listen to Rogan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was like you're like
When he only interviewed comedians.
I know it's so weird. Shit has
It's
just
put a
gotten so
weird way,
in
yeah.
regard. It's absurd. But you were back in the day, like you were already like, I want to do a podcast, and it's like now here we are.
Yeah. I was doing comedy too. I remember too, like you reaching out to me and being like, "How do I get on at Yucks? Like, what's the process there?" And then just sent you like the email, and then to watch you kind of just grow so much in that Ottawa comedy scene. I loved seeing that from where I was at. I was just like, that's so cool to like watch you just really like take that on, because you meet so many people that tell you that they want to do comedy or that they want to be a comedian, and then they don't really do anything. You know what I mean? Like they just say they want to do it, and then they never really follow through with something. So
yeah, it's like people who say they're going to come to your show and then never come to your show. kind of cut from the same cloth. But yeah, no, that's funny, man. You fucking started me on a downward spiral, Johnny.
no.
Spiral. Because now it's like, it's not like I'm doing this, to enjoy myself. It's like I fucking need it, It's funny. I've worked the door for Yuck Yucks for years. Met a lot of great comics and other people who went through those doors, at some point or another. And it's definitely some of the best years of my life doing stand-up.
It's just the best art to just like be able to take that, and especially like someone yourself, you're so talented with like impressions. I think a lot of people maybe that can do impressions, they might just let that go to the wayside, or they just keep it within their friend group, and it's just something funny that they do every now and again. But to be able to incorporate that into a stand-up is just a different type of art.
It's the one art form where it's just you have a microphone and you have a stage and there's no rules. I mean, now there are, in terms of like what you're allowed to, what topics you're allowed to touch, and I think that's, fair enough. But like in terms of what your act is, you can be a person who just stands there and tells jokes. You can be a person who just stands up there and tells entertaining stories. You can be a person who is just a a typhoon of act outs and impressions or whatever, just pure charisma, whatever it is, you have the stage to do whatever you want with it. And I know, I mean, like, I know it sounds like slam poetry or something, but like it is the like one of the most purest forms of expression is just you have X amount of time to do or say whatever you want, really.
Yeah.
And and the crowd you will have immediate feedback. Because unlike being an actor where you got to like literally hunt down feedback after an audition or whatever, and same with like podcasting and these other mediums where you don't get that visceral immediate response from an audience. That's the beauty of stand-up is right away how well you did.
Like, does it have
this,
legs or not? I know. Yeah.
if this new thing that you're trying out has legs or not, pretty much right away. Obviously there's some outliers like, well, the crowd wasn't good, or like, no, it's not so much that, but like sometimes well, anyways, I forgot where I was going, but yeah.
We fucking love stand-up. That's the whole point of it. But with impressions in general, when would you say that you had like you started getting like the confidence of like I'm gonna do these impressions in front of my friends, or I'm gonna turn on this camera and just do it to the camera? Because for people who don't know, your impressions of like your Game of Thrones stuff has brought in you like big opportunities. Like you got to be on Jimmy Kimmel and you got to talk to like the actual Jon Snow over like, and he saw your impression. You know what I mean? Like, so those.
Well, I got to be.
Yeah, you got to be on Game of Thrones, for fuck's sakes. Like, that's a huge opportunity.
Of doing impressions in my bedroom, putting it on YouTube, to actually leading to being on the show, which was like beyond my wildest expectations. So to your question there, I think probably like just my need for my craving acceptance early on in like my middle school, like grade school, middle school years, when I found out that I could make myself sound like Stewie Griffin, or I could do Gollum from Lord of the Rings and make my classmates laugh, was like, that was the start of it all. Was just me needing a way to make friends, because I was just a shy kid who wasn't good at sports, wasn't a locker room, like because growing up in Canada, right, everybody is friends because they were on the same house team, or they were on the same hockey team, so they sit next together in class and they become best friends, right? So like I never played organized hockey growing up. I didn't have those immediate connections that are pretty fucking important to your childhood socialization. So I made friends by doing impressions and being silly, by doing voices and being silly. I was able to like, one friend after another, I sort of like won people over. And that's kind of part of my of like whatever you want to call it, my
journey.
Yeah, I just like I was thinking more like whatever the word is for like a complex. Like, I always feel the need to like win people over, and it hasn't helped me in my social skills, but it's like that's really where the voices come from, is when like after a Family Guy episode aired the night before, if I could recite Stewie's part, like, oh, like what Peter did to that hockey coach. Oh, no clip. Thought we had a clip. Like, if I could, like, if I could,
yeah. I just love doing like, shut up, Meg.
Tomorrow, I'm in.
Yeah, 100%. I totally get that. For my friends, we were just like obsessed with stand-up comedians. Obviously, like at the time, high school, you've got like Dane Cook peaking, like he's blowing up during that time. So just like remembering jokes was like my thing, where I was like, I could
Yeah.
remember the joke start to finish, and I would try to recite it and even do the same mannerisms or whatever it was, just to get that laugh. And it literally felt like yours, like it felt like you had written
Story
it.
and comic is that as the like learning how to. It's just mimicking somebody that you admire, and yeah,
Yeah,
Dane like absurdly successful in like the time we were in high school. Like we were born around the same time, right? You're
yeah, I
like
was 91.
I'm 91 as well.
There you
Yeah,
go.
dating millennials over here. Yeah,
Yeah.
aging gracefully. Um, I was always a big Chappelle guy. So when Chappelle's show was at its when it was when it was on the air and it was just everywhere in the culture. If you could, if you were crushing, the sorry, there's a fucking tiny dick guy with a motorcycle driving by my house.
I can't even
Um,
really hear it.
yeah, like if you could nail all the Chappelle show references, oh, you were crushing it. You know what I mean? That's why we're here. That we idolized comedians, not like necessarily like athletes or politicians. Like,
I imagine we idolize politicians.
if anyone does. I think there are some kids who grow up like wearing suits and being part of like the young conservative
That's true.
clubs in high school who like wanted to be Stephen Harper at some point or another, I'm sure. I mean, whatever you're into, there's like a solid lane for it. That's one thing I've learned, especially with like the explosion of internet culture and social media, is that people who are into this weird lane are connected to other people who are into this weird lane, and then it grows from there. And so now you've got all these different subcultures that when we were in, grade 8 or grade 9, we never could have imagined what fucking weird place the internet would lead us to.
Yeah, not at all. We were too busy playing like fucking like paint and just
Yeah.
typing games or whatever
You're,
the fuck. Math
you
circus.
remember E-Bombs World and like
E-bombs world, funnyjunk.com.
Newgrounds, like
That
that was like
was the internet. Yeah.
internet. That was peak internet. Like right before MySpace and Facebook, when all it was just like flash games and like silly animated cartoons like the end of the world and shit, you know what I mean?
And like salad fingers and just
Yeah.
just all pre-social media was like just good times on the internet for anybody watching.
I know we sound like
Olds. We sound like olds, but like
take me back to 2005.
God damn. It was good times. But this
I know.
we titled this episode award shows because right now it should be the Oscars that's going when this gets released. But
Yeah, the Oscars nobody cares about would be
nobody has cared about them in like fucking I don't even know how long. Years, it feels like. It feels like even pre-pandemic, people didn't really give a shit about the Oscars.
I think a big part of that is the fact that it's only on cable. Like, there's no way to stream it. I mean, you could probably stream it on like CBC, or the CTV website rather. Like, you could probably stream it from there. But like, people our age don't have cable unless they're like stealing it from their parents. I think the reason no one cares about award shows anymore is that just like they're not fun to watch. It's like a 4-hour broadcast, and it's like there's no like it just doesn't feel like it's part of the culture anymore. Like,
yeah, it's interesting how that happened.
Like, to take it back to 2005, like I feel like when when Jamie Foxx won an Oscar, I feel like that was something people would talk about. Like, oh,
or like
Jamie
Halle Berry
Foxx
winning
Oscar. Like, wow, that's cool. Or Lord of the Rings finally, like after the first two movies didn't win, the third one wins all the awards, and everyone's like, "Oh wow, Lord of the Rings had like a clean sweep at the Oscars. They won 11 Oscars." You know, I just don't think that it,
I
can you
wonder
name?
if actors even think in that realm anymore, because like people used to say, like when you'd watch a movie, you're like, "Oh, he gave an Oscar-worthy performance." Like you're like he like it was like how we would rate movies at some point. But now you're like, that's not going to do well on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it's a completely different like judging system that we go by now.
I think I think there's probably actors slash movie stars in that position are probably thinking about it more than more than the rest of us. Um, there's certainly an amount of ego going on there where it's like, I need to have my statue so that it'll be considered like one of the, that I'll be go down as like as part of like Hollywood royalty or whatever.
Yeah.
The average person, it's like, if I mention that, so and so he's won, like Daniel Day-Lewis like basically wins an Oscar every time he's in a movie, they'll be like, okay, cool. I mean, I don't know. I think it's art is completely subjective, and a
I think
lot
that's
of
what it
times
is.
you look back in history and you think like Goodfellas, how did that not win Best Picture at the Oscars? How does Martin Scorsese not win Best Director for
How
Goodfellas?
does,
Raging Bull wins
how
for The
does
Departed.
Leonardo DiCaprio not win anything for like all of those crazy performances that he had given? You know what I mean? Like,
For the fucking art house movie, The Revenant, that like nobody really liked.
yeah, you're like, what? What is the judging here?
Blood and eat goat's liver to like for the Academy to finally be like, okay, we'll give you the fucking Oscar. Here you go. There's like there's like makeup Oscars, and there's like basically like what happened with Scorsese and The Departed, where they give him the best director for The Departed, is kind of almost like a lifetime achievement award more than an actual recognition of his work on that particular project. I just don't know. And also like, but to keep it with the contemporary Oscars, like the ones that are going to be airing as this podcast comes out, can you name like more than 3 movies that are nominated for Best Picture? Like
I
there's
couldn't.
Hair of the Dog, no, Power of the Dog,
What's the Will Smith one where he did like the Williams
King Richard.
King Richard?
That's literally the only reason I care about the Oscars this year, is because I want to see Will Smith win an Oscar. And that's like, and I'm like, why do I care?
Why do I want this so bad for him?
Because we love Will Smith, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's great.
But it's still so funny. It's still so funny that we just sort of like that shouldn't be the only interest though in watching like something, is like, oh, I really hope. But that's all they got going for them though, is they before, when there was like a separation between like the public and celebrity, you were like rooting for your favorite celebrity or actor as if it was like a sports team, right? You're like, I want them to win this because of the performance that they put in. You were like a real fan of them. But now I think it's like the market of content is so oversaturated with just people that like somebody could name me their 10 most influential like people right now on their Instagram or TikTok feed, and I might have no idea who any of those people are. And they could all have 1 million followers and be verified and have their own little piece of the pie like off to the side. No idea who they are, you know? And I think that really, the internet honestly has affected just like the sanctity of an award show, like the sacredness of it, like the fact that like it's this is the only thing that's happening. Now there's so many award shows.
Yeah, it's just like you said, there's just so much stuff out there. There's so much stuff that you can occupy your time with that movies don't matter as much anymore. Like if you like most people who are, and I'm not pointing any fingers and I'm not trying to shit on other generations, like people younger than us, I don't even know if have the attention span for like a 2-hour movie.
But they will watch an 8-part Netflix series where it's like 2 hours per episode. You know what I mean? Like it's all about how it's delivered.
most people are looking for something that they can turn their brain off and scroll their phone and just have it on in the background, you know? I mean, NFL football is great for that. NFL football, red zone is great to just sit there and scroll your phone and have background noise. I think but like, to what you were saying before, it's like, it doesn't really, I am somewhat of a cinephile. Like, I'm kind of I'm one of those people who loves going to the movie theater.
Mm-hmm. Same. I'm in the exact same way.
I love going to the movies. I've always loved it as long as I can remember. And it's just hard to get movies to like the kind of movies that I like to watch that are like original concept, original ideas, or just something different that's not a fucking superhero movie, for it to come out in theaters now. Like, it's such a risk, and studios hate risks. That's why you see any big budget movie is like, it's either Marvel or it's DC or it's some mega huge novel like Dune that gets adapted. You don't see or it has to be, unless Quentin Tarantino is putting out a new movie, you don't get to see a lot of like original ideas in the movie theaters, or something that's just different. Like, I didn't go to the movies for like 2 years, obviously, because of COVID. And the first movie I went and saw, like in October, was The Last Duel, of Ridley Scott medieval epic with crazy, insanely good cast with Damon and Adam Driver, Ben Affleck, and Jodie Comer, and all these other people. And it's like, and it's written by Affleck and Damon, their first collaboration since Good Will Hunting. And that movie did terribly at the box office. It's really good. Did not do well at the box office because like nobody was just like, I'm going to go see that movie. And it's reflected in, to take it back to the Oscars, the fact that like the two leading contenders for the best picture are a Netflix movie and an Apple TV Plus movie. It's like it was hard enough to get people to go to the movies before the pandemic. Now it's fucking damn near impossible. That's why, the only movies that are shattering box office records are Spider-Man, No Way Home, and, Shang-Chi. I hope I didn't, but I never saw it.
No, I never saw it either, but nor did I see any of the new Spider-Man. But like the Spider-Man, like whatever the new one was called, like that was the only movie as of late that I was like, yeah, maybe that'd be cool to see in theaters, because of just like how, like any Marvel movie like that, if you watch it in theaters, there's just so many like extra layers to it that you would never get at that at-home experience, right? That's why I think it's so like people will want to go watch it in like D-Box or whatever.
Yeah.
Just to get that, like, oh.
Seeing Dune in theaters was great. Seeing the Batman in theaters was great.
Yeah, that's another one too I haven't seen.
You need to have the screen and the crazy sound to get the full experience of those kind of movies. Like, you can't just watch at home on your Toshiba or whatever.
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, that's why I'm like fucking, I'll always be a movie theater guy. But yeah, oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. It's early for me, but
that's okay, man. Yeah, I had to set an alarm too. I was like, usually Saturday I'm sleeping in.
Yeah, I know. Like, I wish. Do you get enough sleep?
Never. It always feels like I need more. I don't know what it is. I could sleep for like 8 hours and just wake up like, no, it's not enough.
No, yeah, because like all the healthiest people I know, they're like, I get 14 hours of sleep a day. It's like, how do you work?
Yeah. I was like, wow, pardon?
No, it's like, it seems like 8 hours is not enough.
No.
Because like, I think 10. If you can get 10 hours of sleep a night, then you might have a shot.
9 to 10 hours is a good sweet spot. I have woken up pretty well rested after a good 9 to 10 hour sleep.
The only way I get
requires going to bed like a child. You got to go to bed at like 9:30.
That's the, and is like, I'm a grown up. I can stay up till 11:30 if I want to.
Yeah.
The job I'm currently working has me working till 11:30 at night. So like, I don't have a choice.
Forces you up.
From 8 to 4, and then, do all their chores, go to bed at 9:30. Those are the people that like I kind of envy, but I'm also kind of pitying, because it's like, what you're spending your whole life sleeping. I mean, what's like Nas said, sleep is the cousin of death. I'll sleep when I'm dead. you
Yeah.
know Plenty of time to sleep then. So
There's too much. I mean, I think it became an easier thing for a lot of people with the pandemic, right? Because there was no alternative. It's like, where do I go? Do I go, like, I can't really go outside and do things. So it's like, I guess I'll go to bed. Like, for a lot of people, that was just like their option. But I think what happens is like people get stuck in that routine. And now that things are even open up again, and they've been open up, and now there's no mask mandates and whatnot, it's like people are still in that routine.
it's interesting because, you know, like, case in point, I the people I know who currently have COVID is at an all-time high.
Mm.
And and the the COVID rules in our province of Ontario are at an all-time low. I was at a bar last night, and it was just like everything's like is fully full, and no one's got masks on except for like a couple of the staff. And it's just like, oh, okay, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're back. But like at the same time, it's like, I think we've reached a threshold now where it's like, this we can't keep going with the lockdown format. Get
It
vaccinated.
doesn't, yeah.
If you wear a mask, wear a mask. And if you're sick, stay home. And if you're scared of getting sick, don't go out. It's I kind of like get now what people were saying in the beginning, because like when in the beginning, when everything was locked down, and it was like, Florida is just like no mandates or anything. And it was just like, looking at like a 100% infection rate. I was just like, Jesus, what is going on? But now that I've like had it, and like, yeah, it was bad. I was sick for a few days. I was sick for about a week.
Yeah,
And
that's me
yeah,
too.
I
It's been
felt,
about a week.
felt like real shit for like the first 3 days. And then the next 3 days I was like sore throat and coughing. Um, but like once you've had it and you get through it, the problem is you don't want to like spread it to somebody who could die from it. That's the
That's
thing.
yeah, yeah. That's the part that I would feel horrible about. That's why I canceled the show, because I was like, I didn't want to like come to the comedy club, be like, I'll be fine, rough it out, and then find out I test positive, and then I have to tell the owner to tell all of the people that were there that there was somebody with COVID, and now they all have to get tested. It just is like such a nuisance, you know. But the one thing
It's
that I think COVID has actually solved here is like it's if you are sick with a cold or something, it's made more people just want to stay home and really like take care of themselves and not spread it. Even if it wasn't COVID, if it was just a cold, just a normal whatever cold, I still would have done the same protocol of just staying inside, waiting it out instead of before pre-COVID, I would have just gone. I would have just been like, yeah, I feel fine. I mean, just go. But now the consequences are too grave. It's like there's too many consequences.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, it does translate into the just like when you have a tickle in your throat, maybe just mask up. Why not?
Yeah,
You know,
maybe just throw it on,
and
and then nobody else will get sick.
in like the Asian cultures in China and Japan, like there was that thing I saw on the internet that was like, even before the pandemic, like if we had like a tickle in our throat or if we had a runny nose or whatever, we'll just throw on a mask. And we used to laugh and be like, oh, what these people are. And it's like, no, 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 they're doing it. It's a courtesy to other people, where if you're sick, I don't want to get you sick. And that's kind of why I feel like we should just, even though there's no mask mandate, maybe, if you're at the grocery store or whatever, maybe just mask up anyway, just as just to be polite to other people who are still deeply concerned about this public health pandemic.
Yeah. When I was in Asia too, I noticed a lot of people were wearing masks because of like pollution. Like there was a
Yeah.
varying like amount of reasons like of why
Oh yeah.
people wanted to cover up, but it was like it
That's
was
another.
because sickness, it was definitely sickness, but definitely pollution as well, right? To like kind of filter that out a little bit. But yeah, I completely agree. It's just like if you go to the hospital even and you tell them, say you go into emergency and you tell them your knee could be fucking hurting, but you have a little bit of a cough, they're like, yeah, put on the mask. That was even before a pandemic, before any of that shit. I remember as a kid going to the hospital and having to wear a mask because I had a little bit, tiny bit of a cough, but that wasn't even the reason why I was there. Like,
Yeah, you got to be. Yeah, it's better safe than sorry, right? So,
but people
how are you?
hate being told what to do.
Like you're over
Sorry,
it or what?
you cut out a bit there.
Oh, no, that's
What'd
maybe
you
I'm
say?
just a little matrixy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just. Um, how are you feeling now? Are you like on the?
um,
You on the back nine of the
yeah,
sickness?
I'm getting through it. Today I woke up with a little tiny bit of a sore throat, but like it's virtually gone now at this point. Like it just feels like the ending of a head cold, really.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Because like I mean, I've had certain illnesses during the pandemic and tested negative, and it's like, oh yeah, people still do just get sick.
Yeah,
This
just
is
get a regular cold.
oh, I just had the flu.
Yeah.
Old news.
You're like, oh, that old thing?
Uh, I like your background here. I like all the
Thank
you
you.
got Some Girls by the Rolling Stones. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Right, over your right shoulder
One of
there.
those. Yeah.
Great
I
album. Just
uh I gotta find the record stores here in Ottawa. Since I've moved here, I haven't had a chance to venture out and kind of try to find the hidden gems, if you know any.
I
But
know
like,
exactly where you need to go. You need to go to the records. Uh, it's called the Record Center on Wellington.
okay,
It's in the heart of Hintonburg, and they have uh, just a big. It's just a big room full of records, and they even have like stereo equipment and stuff too.
hell yeah.
And they just opened up a second shop across the street. That's just like it's just it's not. It's sort of like chaotic, but it's just like for for like $1 a record or like $5 a record. It's not organized or anything, but they just have
They're
stacks and
just
stacks
everywhere.
through, and you can find whatever you can find
Wow,
something, and it only costs you like $5. But again,
that's a
it's not
crazy thing.
organized; it's just organized chaos. But that's their second. That's across the street that they
Hmm.
just the
But
OG Center. That's one place I would recommend, and there's also one on. On Bank Street in the Glebe, which is called I don't remember.
is that the name of it,
Oh,
or?
called, I think it's called Crosstown Traffic or Crosstown Records or something. You know, also there's Google. You can just Google it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, true. I like
It was
hearing local recommendations though. Also, like,
yeah, I my go-to is the Record Center.
okay,
That's where
sick.
you got a car,
No, I don't have a car, so I have to Uber it in.
or just take the bus.
Yeah, bus is good. I'm all the way out in Hogsback, kind of Nepean area.
Oh, really? You love it
Yeah,
out by
yeah,
so like Prince of Wales ish.
yep,
Nice. No, I love Hogsback, man. It's like the falls there. Have you
yeah.
checked those?
Oh yeah, yeah. As soon as I got here, that's where we popped right over and checked that out. So it was like my girlfriend and I just moved from Toronto to here just because Toronto was turning into a flaming pile of garbage at the
Really?
time that we left. It was not good,
Like
dude.
I,
It seems like it's getting back now, like, but at the time there was no stand-up shows. It was just like all of my favorite like clubs had just closed. Even my favorite places had closed, and then the homeless like population just like doubled. Like it was insane. And nothing, I mean, nothing against homeless people. What are they gonna do, right? They gotta go somewhere, but like it makes it very dangerous to just be out at night.
uh-huh. And then
Yeah.
yeah, cooped up in their, cubicle apartments and so forth.
Yeah.
It's
Tiny
I get
ass apartments for triple the
yeah.
price of what you get here.
yeah, I mean, there's obviously areas of Toronto that are more congested than others.
For sure.
Some places where you have more breathing. I'm not super familiar with the city. I mean, before the pandemic, I would probably travel there like once a year and just like, see, like, go to like the same area downtown and shit. But man, Ottawa's, listen,
I love
I'm
it.
like, I like the I'm like the tourist general for Ottawa. Like, I'll fucking sell the city. Like, you like canals, like,
Yeah.
we got those. You like rivers that separate us from the Quebexicans? There's
The Quebec kids.
like, we got that too. We got a nice downtown core. There's Elgin. There's the market. There's I don't even, I can't listen.
There's
There's
there's the
something
beaver tail place that Obama bought a beaver tail at.
Yeah, they still sell the Obama cookie,
The Obama
which is
cookie.
basically like the black and white cookie from Seinfeld, and like, I don't know if they're trying to be slick or something, but I listen. Are you originally from Kingston?
Brockville.
Rockville. Okay, my
Close.
bad. Sorry. That wasn't meant as an insult.
No, no insult taken whatsoever. Kingston's beautiful.
Like, I don't know what the local feelings are to.
Had you said Gananoque? No, I'm just kidding.
If you had said Gananoque, if I had said Belleville instead of Brockville, then that would be fighting words,
That's the one. People in Toronto would always do that. Like, you're from Belleville, right? I'm like, I'm not from fucking Belleville.
The other side of Kingston, bro.
Yeah. That'd be like somebody saying, you told them you were from Ottawa, and then they check with you again. They're like, Cornwall, right? It was Cornwall that you said you were from. You're like, not even close.
Cornwall is the go-to town that every Ottawa comedian is like, oh, Cornwall. Somebody in the audience is drunk and screaming shit out. Oh, you must be from Cornwall.
Those local references that never help you for anything other than that moment.
Oh yeah, no, you always, like, every comic, every road dog comes in, and they're like, what's the shitty town that's like nearby? And it's like Cornwall.
Yeah.
Like, if they were in Calgary, they'd be talking about fucking Medicine Hat or whatever.
Yeah. Toronto, they're like, Etobicoke, or fucking Scarborough is what they would always say. Or Oshawa is the big one that everyone likes to shit on.
The schwa.
The schwa.
So
yeah, I've never been a fan of those local jokes, but what are you gonna do? It's necessary at some point.
We all got to shit on somebody, right? When you're telling jokes, there's gonna be some collateral damage. Somebody's got to get hurt. Somebody's got to get hurt.
Sorry, what were you saying before I cut you off?
When I forget.
I always fucking do that. My guess is like you were about to say something, and then I was like, I hate that shit.
I don't remember what I said 2 minutes.
I was gonna say the other award show that's coming up, which has also been like shit over the years, is the Grammys. That's coming, I think, April 3rd or something. This is the craziest thing. I don't know if people know this, but they were attempting to become more diverse. That's always what all of these award shows are trying to do now, right? They're trying to increase their diversity as much as possible. So they contacted Kanye West, and they wanted him to perform at the Grammys. This is pre him going crazy on Instagram or whatever. Yeah, right? No, I don't know if it was like a year ago or something that they asked him to do the Grammys, but like they had him slotted. And then literally
performer to be the host,
to perform, to be on the show performing.
I would see that award show. I would watch that award show if Kanye was hosting.
100%. But I think they ended up like taking him off the award show. They said you're not allowed to perform because
Hmm.
of his like online behavior. They didn't like it, but he can still attend the award show, which is very strange. It's like they want the drama, but like
Yeah,
they don't want to perform. I don't know what they were
it's like
thinking with that.
for letting Kyrie sit and watch the basketball games, but wouldn't let him play in the basketball games. I don't know. But it's really tough to have a take on the whole Kanye, Pete Davidson, Kim situation, right? Because it's like it's not something we should be laughing about or even just like
In any
giving.
other circumstance at all.
It shouldn't be in the public domain because on the one hand you have like bullying behavior, threatening, and like threats of like literal violence and like and like that shouldn't be in the public, and that's just Kim towards Pete. And then on the other hand, there's some like serious stalking behavior going on between a man and his ex-wife, and you know how I mean I feel bad for I feel I never thought I would say that I feel bad for Kim Kardashian, but like I feel bad for Kim Kardashian that this is you know this is her daughter, this is like a failed marriage that like is very very public. But I mean, to temper that, I mean, this comes with the territory when you are basically selling yourself as like solely a public figure. That is
Mm-hmm.
her. Doesn't
She is
she doesn't
herself. That's it.
act, she doesn't do music, she's not a politician. Her occupation is a public figure. But nobody ever but when you get into that sort of lane, nobody expects Kanye behavior. You know what I mean? Taylor Swift
Yeah.
never have her acceptance speech bulldozed by an egomaniac who really, really, really wanted Beyonce to win.
Yeah.
I just, yeah, I think, yeah, there's just so many weird layers to it, and I don't know. What's your take on it?
I think he needs a conservatorship. I think that's probably the
Yeah,
best thing for Kanye West.
some,
I
some,
don't know.
let,
I feel
let
like
conservator.
what?
Let Jay-Z be his conservator. I mean, like, it would
That seems
probably
like it'd probably be for the best, honestly.
Beyonce can adopt him, and they'll be his conservator, and it's probably best for it'll probably work out in the end.
I think that's the move, honestly. But like, I feel bad for Pete Davidson, who's just like this. He just trying to date this woman who he met. Like, and I'm sure they like each other. And then you've got this, literally like the huge celebrity, huge rapper, like just calling you out and saying he wants to beat you up. And like, I couldn't imagine that just in like an unfamous person. Like if I started dating someone and their ex was like always like posting about me on their Instagram or whatever, I would be weirded the fuck out. I'd be like, how do I handle this? Like, do I just stay quiet? Do I do nothing? Like, do I call the police? Like, what's
I
the
don't know what
protocol here?
to do in those situations, because even the police, like the police in your neighborhood, are probably scrolling their Instagram and being like, "Oh shit, look at that!" Like,
Yeah,
I
right. Like,
it's wild how like as funny and talented as Pete Davidson is, he's more famous for just being famous. He's famous for having the because like this isn't the first time this has happened to Pete, where there's like
mm-hmm.
a scorned male lover of the woman he's dating, and you know, you could some might speculate that like Mac Miller's apparent suicide could have been a result of his relationship with Ariana Grande, because they broke up soon after. I don't know.
Possible.
I don't know. I don't know what I probably shouldn't even be saying that, because that's a fucking fucked up take. But now here we are again with like much even larger public figures in the culture, right? Like Kim is mega famous. No one doesn't know who Kim Kardashian is.
And
And
there's
same
kids involved, which makes it scary this time. I think that's what's
I,
really like frightening about it is there's kids.
yeah, that part of it too is like the most fucked up thing is like these are children and like
They're
there's
watching it all. Like I couldn't imagine being like 10 years old and like opening up like say 10 years old in 2022 so they have a phone or whatever in social media, but imagine North has seen her dad's posts. I would have to imagine like she's seen her dad going like insane on social media. There's literally clips like everywhere. All she has to do is Google her dad's name and she could watch endless amounts of clips of him just like yelling at people and then just being completely off his rocker. But it's like, what is that
and
gonna do? Like, what
what
is
are the
that
kids
gonna do?
supposed to do? They even go to school? Like I don't
Yeah.
know how how a kid like Northwest, does
How
she
do you
go
operate?
to school or does she just have like Aristotle or some private tutor come to the house and like instruct her and like
Aristotle.
be a ruler? You know what I mean? Like I I just, but if she, assuming she like attends some like highfalutin
Private.
private
Yeah,
school,
yeah.
like what are the kids at school saying? What are the kids at school saying? Unless kids are all of a sudden in 2022 like just super empathetic all of a sudden, you know, playground's playground. Like I feel bad that this is just like this is like these are like the fucking formative years of this person's childhood that are like being just under this like constant barrage of like what the fuck is going on with your parents.
Just
And
unwanted attention, yeah.
I don't know. The thing is like we'll never know what it's like to be that famous.
Thank
Like
God.
but yeah, like I'm
I
sure
like being able to walk down the street, you know.
I'm sure if like 18-year-old Davidson who gets on stage at an open mic in New York City ever thought that he would get to this point where like everybody in the world knows where he is and thinks he has a huge dick. And I mean, which he probably does. Good for him. But like, and now he's dating not just a Kardashian, the Kardashian.
The main
Like
one.
the the Kardashian, the one who is like the
One who
one,
popularized the name. Yeah.
the one who the biggest like, because I don't know. I don't know, man. It's weird how social media and internet culture has led us to this weird precipice.
It
I
is
don't
a
know.
weird spot. Let's flip it for a second here because we're coming around to an hour. But a question I like asking a lot of people is if you could make a phone call to 15-year-old Steve, it has no impact on the current timeline that's going on now. This is a separate timeline. You could give 15-year-old Steve a little bit of advice. What would you say?
Um, just be nice to people. Like be nice to everybody. Be kind. I feel like there's a difference between niceness and kindness. And I think to try to be kind is the most important thing because I think one of the I think one of the things I struggled with growing up was empathy and not realizing that other people's situations are you don't know what it's like to wake up as that person and have to deal with the things that they have to deal with. So the having things like being patient with people, not judging people, and just whenever you have an opportunity to do something kind or nice for somebody, do something kind or nice for somebody. And that includes yourself. Like be nicer to yourself. Like there's no you don't have to be hard on yourself all the time. I mean, I know I am, and I'm sure you are. I'm sure everybody listening to this has been hard on themselves at one point or another. Fucking, you got to forgive yourself and just like do the best you can. And then no matter what you're doing in life, do the best that you possibly can. If you're going to commit to something, commit 100%. Don't half-ass it. I think that would be, in a roundabout way, what I would say to my 15-year-old self.
I love it, man. Powerful words. Make sure you check out Steve on Instagram, Dr. Steve Love. Hit the YouTube link as well. All of this will be in the description down below. But
Didn't realize
Steve,
I just get that. Yeah, I looked at that background. I never noticed that backdrop before.
oh, you're on the YouTube page?
Yeah, I never noticed that before. I mean, I guess I set it to that at some point or another.
It's a good photo.
Oh,
Yeah. You're like,
oh,
all right. Any parting words, man, that you want to leave with the people? I mean, I feel like that was a good message, but
yeah, I think I peaked. I think I peaked with
I
that.
think I beat. You got any shows coming up that you
I
want people to know
started
about?
by talking about shit and then pontificating about the Oscars and then just like rambling about social media and Kanye and shit. That was a good message to end on. I feel like that's as
Yeah.
good as it's gonna get there. But yeah, hey man, I will end by saying this: keep doing what you're doing because I love to see it. And it's great to have these conversations and to catch up with you, man. It's been
Yeah, man. I can't wait to see you in person.
thanks. Yeah, man, come do a show. Like, let's get on a show together. Let's
Oh yeah.
produce our show.
We should do
Let's
that.
get,
I'm more than down. Let's produce a show.
if I'm ever gonna do the producing thing, but dude, thanks for having me on, man. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, of course. Thank you everybody for listening. Make sure you drop a comment down below with your favorite part. Don't forget to share the episode. That always helps. And if you're listening on Spotify and iTunes, please leave a 5-star review. But until next time, I've been your host, Johnny Rogers. This is Steve Love. Stay classy. You've been listening to The Johnny Rogers Show. New episodes air every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.